Right now in Osaka, a woman has opened every sliding screen in her house. It is 32 degrees outside. Every door is open to the evening air, and there is not a single mosquito inside. On the stone step at her entrance, a thin curl of pale smoke rises from a small spiral coil, the size of your palm, set in a little ceramic dish. She bought the box for $4. It will last her the entire month. She is not worried about mosquitoes. She already thought about mosquitoes. She thought about them in May, and again last Tuesday when she swept the kitchen floor and emptied the plant saucer under her window sill. Tonight, she lit the coil. The work is done. The evening is hers. Most people I know in the West spent more than that on mosquito products last summer and still got eaten alive on the patio. I know because I have seen the receipts. A $30 thermocell device, $6 refill cartridges every 12 hours of use, a UV zapper mounted to the fence post, citronella candles on the table, DEET spray applied to arms and legs before stepping outside, and still the mosquitoes. At the end of the season, some neighbors call the exterminator. That contract runs $400 a year, sometimes $700. They come back every quarter. The mosquitoes come back too. There is something wrong with the approach, not with the products. My name is Kenji. For 40 years I have kept the same small home, and I have learned most of what I know from my mother and my grandmother before me. They kept this home before I did, with the same 6 habits I am going to show you today. Not because they read about them, because this is simply how you tend a home in Japan. Today I am going to walk you through 6 layers, 6 practices stacked one on top of the other that together do what no single product can do alone. We will start at the front door and work our way inward. Some of these you can begin tonight. One of them, the one in the middle, is the item in the title. I want you to understand why it works before I tell you what it costs, because the cost will make you laugh. If you want a calmer, cleaner home, subscribe, and we will do this together. Here is the idea behind all 6 layers. Pests do not appear. They are invited, not on purpose, but by conditions. Standing water invites mosquitoes. Crumbs invite ants. Clutter invites cockroaches. The Western approach is to wait for the pest and then fight it. The Japanese approach is to remove the conditions before any pest decides to come. Think of it this way. You do not have a mosquito problem until you have standing water. You do not have an ant problem until you have crumbs on the floor. Remove the resource, and the pest has no reason to be there. This is not philosophy. It is ecology. Cut the resource, cut the population. The Genkan, the stone entry threshold in a Japanese home, works exactly this way. It is an airlock. Outside air carries hitchhikers, bacteria, spores, insects resting on trouser legs and bags. The Genkan is the zone where all of that is left behind before you enter the home. You do not fight what you carry in. You stop it at the door. Every practice I am going to show you follows this same logic. Remove the condition, tend the home. Let the pest discover there is nothing for it here. The first layer is the Genkan itself, in Japanese Genkan. The characters mean barrier and deep, a threshold to the deep interior. It has meant the entrance in Japanese homes since at least the Heian period, over 1,000 years ago. Here is what it is. The Genkan is a recessed tile or stone area just inside the front door, set 1 step lower than the interior floor. Shoes come off here every time, for every person. They go into a low cabinet built into the wall, a getabako, and slippers wait on the raised wooden step. You cross the step, and you are inside. You have left the outside world behind. A 2016 study at the University of Houston found over 400,000 bacterial units on the outside of a single shoe, and more than 90% of that transferred to clean interior floors within 3 steps. Every mosquito that lands on your cuff while you walk to the car, every bit of mud and debris, every insect egg clinging to a bag, it all stops at the Genkan, the habit the Genkan replaces, wearing outdoor shoes through the entire house, or using a doormat that catches perhaps 40% of what you track in and nothing else. In your own home, you do not need to build a Genkan, a low bench just inside the front door, something you can sit on to remove your shoes comfortably, plus a small shoe rack and a basket of guest slippers. The bench is the key. When removing shoes is comfortable, people actually do it. Without the bench, they will skip the habit when they are tired or carrying groceries. Make it easy and the habit holds. One small note from tradition. The threshold strip itself, the shiki, the line between the Genkan floor and the raised interior, is not stepped on in a Japanese home, only crossed. Stepping on the threshold is an old slight, like stepping on the face of the home. The line between outside and inside is taken seriously. I still step over it out of habit. My grandmother would have noticed if I did not. The second layer is soji, daily cleaning, not deep cleaning, daily maintenance, 10 to 15 minutes every day after cooking. Sweep the kitchen floor, wipe the surfaces dry, empty the sink, keep the lid on the bin. In Japanese schools, students spend 15 minutes every afternoon cleaning their own classrooms with brooms, dustpans, and damp rags. No janitor. This begins in elementary school and continues through high school. By the time these children become adults, cleaning is not a task they dread. It is simply how the day ends. The origin is older than the schools. Zen Buddhist monks in the 1200s practiced samu, physical labor as meditation, as serious as sitting in silence. Dogen Zenji, the founder of Soto Zen in Japan, wrote that washing a bowl with full attention was as profound as any formal study. Cleaning was not preparation for the important things. Cleaning was itself the practice. The pest logic here is simple. Cockroaches, ants, silverfish, pantry moths, they are all resource limited. They can only sustain a population if food, water, and shelter exist. Remove crumbs every day, dry out every drip, clear clutter. Most pest populations self-limit within weeks. The exterminator comes when the population is already established. Daily soji prevents the establishment. In Japan, we do not clean because it is dirty. We clean so it never becomes dirty. In your home, 10 minutes after the evening meal, sweep the kitchen floor, wipe the counters and stovetop dry. Empty the sink, close the bin. That is the whole practice. The third layer is the item in the title, the Katori Senko. Mosquito-taking incense, that is the literal translation. Katori means mosquito-taking or catching. Senko means incense coil. It is a compressed, slow-burning spiral made from pyrethrum, a powder from the dried flowers of the Dalmatian chrysanthemum. When lit, it smolders for 7 to 8 hours, releasing pyrethrins into the air at the entrance or beside an open door. One box of 30 coils costs about $4 in the United States at an Asian grocery or online. That is 1 coil per night, under 15 cents each, 1 box, $4, 30 nights of protection. How does it work? Pyrethrins bind to the nerve cells of insects and hold the nerve signal switch open. The nerve fires continuously and cannot reset. The mosquito is paralyzed within minutes. In mammals, the liver breaks pyrethrins down quickly. The switch closes, the signal ends. The difference is our liver speed versus the insect's complete lack of one. This is why a coil burning by the door through the evening is safe for a household at normal use. The dose and the metabolism are simply different scales. Even so, I need to say this clearly. If you have cats, please be careful. Cats lack the liver enzyme that breaks pyrethrins down quickly. Keep coils well away from indoor spaces where cats spend time, and use ventilated outdoor or entry placements. The same caution applies to aquariums. Fish are sensitive to pyrethrin compounds. Smoke near an open tank is not safe. Adjust your placement accordingly. The coil placement matters. Set it in a ceramic or metal stand at the Genkan step, on the balcony, or beside the open shoji screen, low to the ground. Mosquitoes fly low, staying near legs and ankles. Ground-level smoke is perfectly positioned. At the entrance, any mosquito approaching the door passes through the smoke barrier before it even enters. The coil does not wait for the mosquito to come inside. It meets it at the threshold. What does this replace? A $30 thermocell device with refill packs at $6 each every 12 hours of use, a UV bug zapper that mostly kills moths, not mosquitoes, DEET spray applied to skin, citronella candles. The coil is $4 for the month. The thermocell is $60 in refills for the same period. The practice costs less per night than a piece of gum. The fourth layer is seasonal, and it is the oldest practice in this video. On May 5th, Tango no Seku, Children's Day, it is traditional in Japan to hang bundles of shobu and yomogi from the eaves or at the entrance. Shobu is sweet flag, a reed-like plant. Yomogi is Japanese mugwort. This tradition arrived from China during the Nara period over 1,200 years ago and has been practiced continuously since. Japanese tradition rarely does just one thing. The shobu bundle was practical and ceremonial at the same time. Shobu contains acerone and other terpene compounds with documented mild insecticidal properties. Mugwort contains repellent compounds related to artemisinin. Both together at the entrance marked the beginning of insect season and addressed it at the same moment. The shobu leaves are sword-shaped, and in Japanese the word shobu carries a second meaning, martial spirit. The same plant that meets the first mosquitoes of summer is associated with warriors. There is also a third use. Shobu leaves are placed in the bath on this same day. Shobu-yu, for health and vitality. The same plant, doing three things at once. Japanese people were engineering insect repellent entrance decorations over 1,000 years before most of the world had systematic pest control, and they were doing at least three things simultaneously. One note I want to be honest about. This is a seasonal practice, not a year-round one. The bundles go up in early May and serve the first mosquitoes of summer. You may see videos suggesting that hanging mugwort at your door year-round is an ancient Japanese tradition. It is not. The real practice is specific. Shobu and yomogi at the eaves around May 5th. Use the real tradition. The real thing is interesting enough. The fifth layer lives inside the home. Camphor, Rei Shono, from the kusunoki tree, the camphor laurel. Camphor sachets and blocks placed in tansu, traditional wooden storage chests, protect folded clothing from moths, silverfish, and carpet beetles. Japan and Taiwan were the world's dominant camphor exporters well into the 20th century. The same trade that supplied camphor to the world also kept it in every chest of drawers in Japanese homes. The kusunoki is not only a commercial tree. Ancient camphor laurels, some over 1,000 years old, stand at Kasuga Taisha in Nara and Sumiyoshi, Taisha in Osaka. Japanese people protect their clothing with the same tree they revere in shrines. That connection between daily habit and something larger is very Japanese. Alongside camphor, hinoki, Japanese cypress, works in a similar way. Hinoki contains hinokitiol, a compound with documented antibacterial and insect deterrent properties in laboratory studies. Hinoki sachets in closets and drawers deter termites and wood-boring beetles. The scent is clean and sharp. You will recognize it immediately if you have ever walked into a Japanese bathhouse. Both camphor and hinokitiol work as volatile deterrents. Insects detect the compounds through their antennae and avoid the area. Not a kill mechanism, a barrier, a signal that says, nothing for you here. What they replace: synthetic mothballs, naphthalene, and parachlorobenzene, both listed as possible carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. The Japanese alternatives have been in use for centuries. You can find hinoki sachets at Japanese specialty shops or online. Replace them when the scent fades, roughly every 3 months. The 6th layer is the simplest and the most important. Eliminate standing water. Mosquitoes, the tiger mosquito, Aedes albopictus, is the primary summer pest in Japan. Lay eggs only in standing water. 1 bottle cap of still water can support a full breeding cycle. The cycle from egg to adult takes 7 to 10 days. Remove the water and the cycle cannot complete. No water, no eggs, no larvae, no adults. After Japan's first domestic dengue fever outbreak in 70 years at Yoyogi Park in Tokyo in 2014, with 162 confirmed cases, municipalities across the country launched intensive public campaigns, not spray the air, find the water. The outbreak traced to tiger mosquitoes breeding in the park. The response was precise. Locate and drain every standing pool. In your home, after every rain, empty the saucers under potted plants. Check any outdoor containers, tarps, buckets. Clear the gutters once a season. Flip anything that holds water. 5 minutes per week. What this replaces: perimeter insecticide spraying. Synthetic compounds sprayed around a yard kill adult mosquitoes for 2 to 4 weeks. But if breeding water still exists, new adults emerge in 7 to 10 days. The exterminator keeps returning. Remove the water and the population has nowhere to come from. One is a subscription, one is a solution. Now I want to address a few things you may have seen online, because some of it is wrong, and I do not want it to cost you your summer evenings. Bug zappers. The ultraviolet light attracts moths, beetles, and other night-flying insects, not mosquitoes. Mosquitoes navigate by carbon dioxide and body heat, not light. Multiple entomological studies confirm that zappers kill more beneficial insects than mosquitoes. They create a feeling of doing something while the mosquitoes find you undisturbed on the porch. Japanese homes do not use them. There is a reason for that. Citronella candles, outdoors. Citronella does contain real repellent compounds, but outdoors, in any breeze, the concentration disperses to near zero within about 2 feet of the flame. Beyond arm's length, there is almost no protection, and citronella is not a Japanese method. It is Southeast Asian in origin. It is not part of what I am showing you today. Perimeter spraying while leaving standing water in place. This is the most common mistake. The spray kills adult mosquitoes for a few weeks, but the breeding water is still there. New adults emerge in 7 to 10 days. You spray again. The company sells you another treatment. Remove the water first. The mosquitoes have nowhere to come from, and the spray becomes unnecessary. And finally, year-round mugwort at the door. You have probably seen this described as an ancient Japanese practice. Tie dried mugwort to your front door all summer, all year. The documented tradition is specific. Shobu and yomogi, together at the eaves around May 5th, for a particular seasonal purpose. Year-round mugwort doorway bundles are not a mainstream Japanese practice. Use the real tradition. It is older and more interesting than the version going around online. I want to be honest about where this approach has limits. The Katori Senko coil protects the area near the entrance and the zone where the smoke drifts at low level. In a large, well-ventilated open space, the protective zone is limited to the area near the coil. It is an entrance barrier, not a whole house treatment system. The Genkan habit only works if everyone in the household participates. One person who keeps their shoes on undermines the whole thing. And eliminating standing water in your own yard reduces your local mosquito population. It does not protect you from mosquitoes breeding 2 houses away. It lowers your exposure. It does not end all exposure. For anything serious, termites in the structure, a bedbug infestation, a wasp nest in the walls, these 6 practices are maintenance habits, not treatments. Please consult a licensed pest control professional. I say this plainly because I mean it plainly. A coil at the door is for the mosquitoes of a summer evening. It is not for a structural problem. Know the difference and act accordingly. Now I want to tell you the full story of the Katori Senko because most videos give you the product without the person, and the person is the whole point. In the late 1800s in Wakayama Prefecture on the Kii Peninsula south of Osaka, a man named Eiichiro Wayama was working to commercialize pyrethrum, the chrysanthemum powder that kills insects. Pyrethrum had been used in powdered form for centuries. Ueyama wanted to make it burnable and portable, something a family could use through an entire night. The straight stick form worked, but it burned in 30 minutes, not long enough for a summer night's sleep. The problem sat unsolved. According to Kincho's own company history, it was his wife Yuki who suggested the solution. What if you wound the stick into a coil? The same amount of material, the same burn rate, but the path is spiraled and the burn time multiplies. One double spiral coil, 7 to 8 hours, through the night. The company they built became Dainihon Jochugiku, Great Japan Insect Removing Chrysanthemum Company, trading today as Kincho, the golden bird. The rooster is still on every box. Kincho is still headquartered in Osaka. The 2 coils sold interlocked in the box, peeled apart before lighting, are still the same design. The formula is largely unchanged from 1890. The chrysanthemum Skyokiku is Japan's national flower. It is the symbol on the imperial seal. The insect-removing chrysanthemum is not just any plant. It is the flower of Japan doing its work in a small spiral by the door. The coil shape is the invention, same stick, same material, wound into a spiral, and a 30-minute burn becomes 7 hours. One observation by one woman in Wakayama, and Japanese summers changed forever. Over 130 years later, on hot June evenings across the country, the same thin curl of smoke rises from the same ceramic stand by the same Genkan step. Not because Japan has not invented anything better, because it does not need to. Here is what the practice looks like in real time. Starting this week, every evening when you open the windows or doors at dusk, light one Katori Senko coil in its stand at the entrance. 7 to 8 hours of burn time will carry you through the evening. cost, under 40 cents per use at U.S. prices, less if you find a Japanese grocery nearby. Every day after cooking, spend 10 minutes on soji. Sweep the kitchen floor, wipe the surfaces dry, empty the sink, close the bin. Do it every day and you will not need to fight pests later because there will be nothing for them to find. Every time you enter, shoes off at the door. A bench makes this comfortable. A shoe rack keeps the entry clear. Guest slippers in a basket by the step. Once a week, especially after rain, empty every plant saucer, check any outdoor containers, flip anything that holds water. 5 minutes. At the seasonal turn into summer, check your window screens for gaps. Clear dense plants from around entry points. In your storage and closets, place camphor or hinoki sachets and replace them when the scent fades, roughly every 3 months. The annual cost of all of this, roughly $20 to $40. The annual cost of a quarterly exterminator contract, $400 to $700, and the mosquitoes still find you in the yard. My grandmother had a saying for this. She did not say it as wisdom. She said it as a fact, the way you state the temperature outside. She said, you do not fight the pest. You arrange the home so the pest does not think to come. By the time you notice the mosquito, it is already too late. The coil is for before the mosquito arrives. The West sells you the cure. Japan practices the prevention. The thermocell, the zapper, the spray, the exterminator. These are all responses to a pest that has already decided your home is a good place to be. The Genkan, the daily sweep, the coil at the step, the dry sink, the empty saucer. These are the arrangements that change the pest's decision before it is even made. There is no battle here. There is no enemy. There is only the home you tend and the conditions you create inside it. Tend the home well, and most pests will find somewhere else to be. They were never after you. They were after the water, the crumbs, the warmth, the opening. Remove those, and the summer becomes quiet. I have kept this home for 40 years this way. My mother kept it before me, my grandmother before her. The coil costs $4. The sweep costs 10 minutes. The shoes come off at the door. The summer is long. You can enjoy it or you can fight it. Japan chose a long time ago